Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Super Breakfast Friends Club, the show where I've already used up all of Mel's energy.
That's it. Good night, everyone. It was fun while it lasted.
Hey, you know, last week I said that there was another question I felt like we should answer at the end when we were answering questions.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't remember what it was, so we didn't do it.
Yeah.
I remembered what it was. I was going to say people will probably want to know how often we're going to cover movies. And the answer is...
never again.
We make no promises about that.
We do them when we feel like it, okay?
Yeah, but now we're back to TV shows. I hope you've got your cereal ready. I haven't.
No, me neither. Can you imagine how horrible it would be to just hear crunching noises this entire time?
Some people would be into that.
Yeah, well, maybe if they gave us Patreon money.
Yeah. Hey, join the Patreon where we post our cereal eating ASMR videos. We don't look for those.
Weirdo.
Play the theme song. It's Sonic again.
Yeah. I knew you were going to drop this on my doorstep. You've been dying to trick me into watching another Sonic the Hedgehog.
Well, it's about time we did.
It's only been like 2 months.
That's a long time. We do a Mario episode like once a month, I feel like.
We do not.
Feels like it.
Well, Mario's great.
Listen, we've done, I think, 4 episodes on the Mario Super Show, and this is only the second time we've looked at this. And I consider this show equivalent to the Mario Super Show, so...
Yeah, but there's 15 other Sonic shows we've watched.
That's true. There aren't as many Mario shows to look at. But this episode is called Best Hedgehog. It's written by Martha Moran, who also wrote for all 3 of the Mario shows. She wrote for RoboCop, she wrote for Captain Planet, she wrote for Extreme Dinosaurs.
Extreme Dinosaurs?
Yeah, and she came back to write for Sonic Underground as well.
Do they skateboard?
The Extreme Dinosaurs?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I very barely remember the theme song, and that's it.
What makes them so extreme?
I don't know. I don't think there really needed to be much extremity at the time. I mean, there wasn't anything that extreme about the Extreme Ghostbusters. Here, I found you a picture of the Extreme Dinosaurs.
Okay, I can see why they might be considered extreme.
Yeah, this was just, it was late-stage Ninja Turtles, basically.
I would like to see them on a skateboard or perhaps a BMX bike.
Maybe they were at some point. I don't remember. Like, when was Extreme Dinosaurs? I feel like it was... I feel like Extreme Dinosaurs was the death knell of the Ninja Turtles era, you know?
Somebody watched that show and said, we need to stop.
Yeah.
We must be stopped.
1997.
That is pretty late stage TMNT.
It's really late stage. TMNT had been gone for a few years by the time this show came out.
This is stage 4.
This is long after Biker Mice from Mars and Street Sharks.
Street Sharks. Every time they come up, I just can't.
Yeah. And I'm shocked that people are still trying to do the Ninja Turtles thing in 90s. Like, Ninja Turtles has survived, but none of the others have.
Yeah.
I feel like I heard something about a Biker Mice from Mars reboot recently, but I don't know if it actually happened.
Probably not.
I feel like not, yeah.
For the best. Oh, here's them on snowboards. That's pretty extreme.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Is that enough for you, though?
Maybe.
There's no wheels on a snowboard.
There are no wheels on a snowboard. Maybe if they did a sufficiently sick enough trick, I would allow it.
Okay. We're not here to talk about extreme dinosaurs.
Unfortunately.
We don't have a show for that. Now, Mel.
Yeah?
You may be wondering why I chose this particular episode.
Yeah?
Because there's not really much about it that feels notable, right?
Yes.
This was the first episode they aired.
Ever?
Yeah, it was the 13th episode they made, but this is the first one they showed on TV. And I don't know why.
Yeah, I have a hot take, but I didn't really like this episode.
No, it wasn't very good.
I thought it was pretty boring.
Yeah, it's funny. The first episode we looked at of this show was the first one they made, was the intended first episode.
And it was good.
And it was good, but for some reason, when they aired it, they chose to begin with this one, and I can't for the life of me figure out why.
Maybe that's the only way they could think to explain why they're going to rescue a man who's been trapped for 30 years with no lead up.
Why they never did it before.
Right.
I did have
where
that
this man
thought.
has never been mentioned.
Yeah. But yeah, maybe they were like, listen, we can't 13 episodes in suddenly have Sonic go, oh, you know what? We should rescue that guy who's been locked up for 30 years.
Remember Lucas Tales? Maybe we should do something about that.
So this episode aired September 9th, 1993, as the premiere episode of Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Immediately, the episode opens with Sonic and Tails sneaking into Robotnik's fortress to break out someone that Robotnik has had captive for 30 years.
Sneak in is real generous for what they did.
It's sneaky when the robots are stupid. So you can kind of just walk by them and they won't see you, I guess.
That's what they did!
Yeah, well, I mean, Sonic zips by at Sonic speed, but you would think that...
Sonic buzzsaws by, and it makes a loud buzzsawing noise every time he does it.
Yeah, and they do notice, I guess.
Yeah.
Because you could say he was, like, too quick for them to see, but you would think Robotnik would build his robots able to see things moving at the speed that Sonic moves.
I don't know if this is a very competent incarnation of Robotnik.
Hey!
Listen, I'm not saying he's bad. I love him. I just don't know that his robots are quite up to speed yet.
Yeah, alright. I don't know if they are in the games either. I mean, I guess you haven't actually ever seen Orbot or Cubot yet, have you?
No.
I think Metal Sonic is the only competent robot that Robotnik has ever made.
That one was a mistake.
Yeah, well, he can't recreate it. That's why every time Metal Sonic gets broken, he can't just build a new one. He can't just make a full army of them.
Rude.
That would solve all his problems. So this guy's been Robotnik's captive for 30 years, which is twice as long as Sonic's life. Assuming that this Sonic is 15 like he is in the games.
Right, and we don't even know how he heard about this man.
No. That's the thing. I think if they just had a little bit at the beginning where he finds out about this, where he, like, hears the rumor in the bar or something. Someone's like, hey, did you hear Robotnik's had a guy in this fortress for 30 years? Then it would be more understandable that Sonic hasn't rescued him already.
Right.
Especially given how easy this is.
He's just in a bird cage and Sonic buzzsaws off the bottom.
Yeah. Also, what is he?
A mop man?
He's the little mop man with arms and legs sticking out.
He's like a baby Sasquatch.
Yeah, he reminds me of the Looney Tunes guy. You know, the hair monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I know this is them trying to say he's been in there so long his hair has grown ridiculous, but why did they make him like those old-timey cavemen cartoon guys.
Yeah. Yeah, he does look a little Captain Caveman, actually, now that you mention it.
Yeah.
I tried really hard to find out who plays Lucas. It might be Ian James Corlett, who also plays Coconuts in this show, but I'm basing that entirely on the fact that Lucas sounds a little bit like Coconuts.
They didn't have any voice.
All the voice actors, aside from the, series regulars, all the voice actors for this episode are just credited as additional voices.
That's rude.
So, yeah, there's a bunch of them. Even when it came to Lucinda, who we'll see later, Lucas's girlfriend, I thought, well, I only remember there being one female voice in this episode, so that's got to be who that is, right? But there's 4 women credited for voice acting in this episode, and it doesn't say which of them did it, so...
Okay.
No idea.
Good records.
Anyway... So if anybody knows who played Lucas and Lucinda in this episode, please let us know, because we have no idea.
Please let the world know.
Yeah, it seems like the internet has no idea. Even I went to the Sonic Wiki and it's got like Spanish and French voice actors listed for them, but no English ones.
That's bizarre.
I know. Sonic turns into a buzzsaw and frees Lucas from his cage. And then an alarm goes off and a bunch of badniks run in. I don't know if these are any real badnik. They kind of look like Octus from Oil Ocean.
I love that guy.
But only sort of slightly.
Yeah, they've got chompy teeth.
Yeah, they're just pink and they've got multiple legs. That's all. That's all that makes them look like Octus. Sonic stops to brush his hair and uses his mirror to reflect the lasers the robots are shooting.
How did he know they had lasers?
Maybe he's met them before.
Wait. He's never met them before, Mike.
Yeah, because they definitely don't have visible lasers. It comes out of his head.
Yeah, and we don't see them fire any lasers before he pulls out a mirror.
No, he's already got the mirror out. He just, he took a gamble. Maybe he was never intending to reflect lasers. Maybe he really was just brushing his hair.
Sonic doesn't have hair.
Well, he's brushing his spikes. I will say, though, visually, when they fire the laser and the laser gets reflected on the mirror, really good looking animation there. Really nice lighting and effects and stuff.
Okay, nerd.
It was good, okay? The animation wasn't bad in this episode in general.
No.
That was its saving grace, really. Robotnik's up at the top of the tower, I guess. And he has Scratch and Grounder prepare the egg blaster to launch a rotten egg bomb down at Sonic.
What an oddly specific machine.
It really is just like it doesn't even seem like it would cause that much of a problem.
It'd just be stinky. But Sonic has a big spring that he brought from home, I guess. No, he runs off screen and he pulls it out of a grandfather clock.
Oh, did he pull it out of... It was just a clock there.
I think so. Let me double check. He runs off screen to get something. I'm pretty sure he pulls it out of like a grandfather clock or something.
Okay.
Yep, there's a grandfather clock, and he just takes a big spring out of it.
Okay, well, that's convenient. And uses the spring to bounce the bomb back up where it lands on Robotnik, and then Sonic just kind of casually cooks him.
Yeah, because apparently Robotnik has been standing in a giant pan this whole time.
Yeah, his giant frying pan. What, you don't issue commands from a giant frying pan?
No, I haven't been promoted that high yet.
Oh. Yeah, just, some kind of wacky, wild stuff going on. I forgot how Looney Tunes this show is.
Yeah, it's very much a cartoon.
But this show is absurdist even by Looney Tunes standards.
I don't even know if that's the right word that I would use.
No.
It's just very this.
Scratch and Grounder run out of a window.
Yeah.
I was unclear on exactly why.
They got duped, as usual.
As usual. It doesn't really matter the where and how. They just walked out a window.
They were trying to pounce on Sonic the Hedgehog and didn't notice that he was standing in front of an open window.
So that all of that happens. And then in the woods outside, Sonic asks Lucas why Robotnik kept him locked up for 30 years. And we get this high school flashback. Like, just the idea that this is stemming back to a high school, a high school crush 30 years ago.
I think they should have gone farther. They should have made it even pettier.
They should have made it like a Doofenshmirtz thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Lucas, he wasn't even dating this girl. He was lab partners with a girl named Lucinda. And he was just about to ask her out when a jealous Robotnik attacked him with a robot snake.
I do love that even in high school, he was already building robot animals to do his bidding.
I love this high school Robotnik that we get here.
With his little bowl cut on the tippy top of his pointed dome.
Yeah. He's still got the mustache, but it's smaller.
None of his clothes fit.
None of his clothes fit. He's got acne on his face. And his voice is higher, but you can still tell it's him.
Why does he get all the luck? Lucinda should be my lab partner and my girlfriend.
Yeah.
So Robotnik asked Lucinda out. She turned him down, and then apparently shortly after that, Robotnik was expelled and began his criminal career. Built his fortress and imprisoned Lucas inside it.
I mean, to be fair, Robotnik's been doing pretty well for himself.
Yeah.
With no high school diploma.
Yeah, it really shows that you don't need it. It's all just a scam. I love that in the flashback, Robotnik's recognizable.
Mm-hmm.
And when we see Lucinda later on, she basically looks exactly the same as she did in high school.
Mm-hmm.
But Lucas is a completely different species of creature.
When Tails gives him a haircut, he looks like a normal boy again. That's why I'm so confused why they've chosen to go the Captain Caveman route.
It doesn't look like a person.
No, it doesn't. Like, even the proportions aren't suited for what he later becomes.
No, and he, when he's in his normal form, he's got these big, thick Millhouse glasses on, and he's wearing...
Yeah, he doesn't need them when he has hair.
No, I guess the hair focuses his vision. Sonic immediately wants to help Lucas find Lucinda, because Sonic is just assuming that 30 years later, she's still waiting for him.
Right. She hasn't gotten married or anything, but, like, why would you assume that, Sonic the Hedgehog?
Yeah. He should just be like, well, we'll help you find her, and, maybe you can see her again, and we'll find out what's going on with her. But he's immediately just like, she's been waiting for you for 30 years. I've never heard of this woman before. I don't know where she is, but she's been waiting this whole time for sure.
You two are destined to be married.
She was just, in high school, she was your lab partner, and you were gonna ask her out, and now 30 years later, she's still waiting for that.
You don't find connections like that willy-nilly. This was a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Yeah. The way he poured that beaker.
Melted her heart and the countertop.
She never forgot it. He turned on a Bunsen burner in her heart.
And it's been burning ever since. The lab is in smolders.
The whole high school. So Robotnik is really desperate to get Lucas back, and he tells Scratch and Grounder his version of how things went down in high school, where Lucas barged in and tried to steal his girlfriend Lucinda from him, but Robotnik fought him off and threw him out the window.
Get your hands off my girl!
Your girl? We'll see about that! Ow!
The best part of this flashback is Robotnik has a full head of hair and a hunky body.
Yeah, and a suit. He's wearing like a purple suit.
Yeah, he's dressed all fancy. He has a cravat.
It's very good. I love that his flashback ends with her in his arms and he's beaten Lucas and thrown Lucas out the window, and Lucinda has chosen him. And then we come back to him just daydreaming with hearts floating out of his head, and Scratch and Grounder are both like, well then where is she?
What happened, boss?
And he just doesn't really answer.
You're my hero.
Oh, so where is she? How come we never met her? Hello? Your malevolence?
Yeah! What happened? Where is your Lucinda?
Did you marry her and live happily ever after? No.
I was so hoping that it ended up being something in between the two stories. Or like when we later see Lucinda, and the first thing she says is that R is for rotten. I was like, maybe his story was true. Could you imagine?
If Robotnik was the one telling the truth.
Yeah.
They get to Lucinda and she's like, I thought Robotnik locked you up for me. Because you were a creep and I didn't want anything to do with you.
Take a hike, nerd.
Yeah, because in Robotnik's flashback, she's a completely different, like, she doesn't have the same personality.
No, she's totally different.
She's really impressed by Robotnik's bullying, and Robotnik figures that Sonic and his gang are gonna head to the jungle because Lucinda teaches a school there, and he says that whichever badnik captures Lucas will get anything they desire.
Your egomatic hovercraft?
Yes.
This fortress?
Yes. I said anything. You mean like that wrench set over there? Even the wrench set. See ya.
I thought this was really funny.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Scratch and Grounder are immediately at odds with each other. They usually end up there at some point.
Well, they've started off being pitted against one another. Only one of them can have what they want.
Yeah. So Grounder, on his own, builds a little snare trap for Sonic, and Sonic comes to critique it. Sonic doesn't think it's going to work, so Grounder demonstrates it by hopping into it himself. It works. It worked, and even Sonic concedes that it would have worked.
You come along here and step in the snare and get yanked up in the air, releasing that branch, which will bet you into that pit.
Gee, I can't visualize it.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. You must be really, really dumb. Look.
Now I get it. See ya, scumbot!
At this point, Lucas just really wants to give up. Like, it's been 30 years and he's moved on.
Well, you say that, but he immediately goes right back to Lucinda the second he's out of the cage. Like, mentally, he's still there. He's had 30 years to perseverate on this.
But every time, like, the whole episode, Sonic and Tails are like, no, come on, we're gonna find her. And Lucas is like, you know, guys, I don't know if we should bother.
That's because he's a wimp.
Listen, I saw the first woman I've ever seen just now in 30 years, and I don't know, Lucinda's not on my mind anymore.
He hasn't seen anything or anyone.
Sonic's making sure he doesn't see any other women.
Yeah.
Listen, we can't let him know he has options.
This is all I've got going this afternoon, so we better make it last.
They have no idea where she is. Lucas says that Sonic has been all over the planet already looking for her. Which is a lot.
I feel like maybe you should start more locally and just like ask people.
Well, it sounds like that's what they've been doing, but they haven't found anybody who knows anything.
An entire high school worth and nobody knows?
One high school on the whole planet. Like, what are the odds they're going to find someone?
Robotnik knows. He's been stalking her for years.
Yeah, he's on her Facebook under a false name.
His fake book.
AI picture of a hot man. So, Scratch and Grounder are together again now. But this is clearly Scratch's plan and Grounder's just observing. But Sonic shows up and ties a rope around their legs. So the plan was like some kind of, it involved a catapult and a boulder
It looked like they were just going to drop a boulder on him when he ran under like a wily coyote.
Yeah, but then Sonic ties the boulder to their legs and they end up getting thrown. He runs over to taunt them and he says,
Gosh, I feel kind of sorry for him. Makes me want to give him a hint and tell him where we're going.
After the dirty, rotten trick you just pulled?
Oh, Grounder, you moronathon! We don't need the dumb hedgehog's dumb hints!
Right, I knew that. Yeah, you dumb hedgehog! We already know you're going to Lucinda's schoolhouse in Mobius Jungle!
Those fools!
And so now Sonic knows where Lucinda is. Can you imagine if there was a jungle here that was just called the Earth Jungle?
Earth Jungle! I want it.
That's what this is, basically.
Petition to rename the Amazon the Earth Jungle.
Hey, maybe it will be. If we ever achieve interdimensional travel. I meant to say interstellar travel. If we ever achieve interstellar travel and we meet other aliens and stuff, I'm sure they'll start calling the Amazon the Earth Jungle.
We need to put some kind of relic of power in it so people know when they're on a quest that the Earth Jungle is going to have the Earth relic.
Yeah, okay. Well, now we're at Lucinda's schoolhouse.
Yeah.
Where she is looking the same as in the flashbacks.
Exactly the same.
Maybe she has a new hairstyle and some new clothes,
Yeah.
but...
She kind of looks like Judy Jetson.
She does kind of look like Judy Jetson now that you mention it. And young Lucas kind of looks like Where's Waldo? Where's Wally for English fans?
He doesn't have a stripies, though.
He's got a stripy shirt, doesn't he?
Yeah, I guess. It's like one big stripe in the center, though. But he does have the big glasses, and it does kind of make him look like Waldo.
And he's got the red and white color scheme.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have a hat on. He kind of looks like young Waldo.
Yeah.
So Lucinda's teaching the kids the alphabet, and she cries when she gets to L for Lucas.
Now R is for rotten, and L is for Lucas.
Does she do this every day?
I hope so.
Every day. Every day as she goes through the alphabet, she gets to L, picks up a picture of Lucas on her desk and starts crying. And all the kids are like, man, I really want to know what comes after L, but...
She does it out of order anyway. The first letter she gave was R.
That's true. Do you think she just teaches them those two letters every day?
She teaches them to hate Robotnik and love Lucas. That's the lesson plan every day.
What did you learn at school today, Jimmy? Well, we learned R and L again. I really don't know how to spell anything that doesn't have those two letters exclusively in it.
Maybe one of these days you'll learn S.
Lucas can't face her because now that he's seen her crying over a picture of him, he's like, oh, she just wants me from 30 years ago. She wouldn't want this now me. And I'm like, oh my God, Lucas.
Stop being a loser.
Stop making excuses. They convince him to go out and speak to her, and he calls out to her, and she hears it, but then Scratch and Grounder grab him before she sees him, and she's just...
Like, can you imagine being infatuated with someone for 30 years, and you find concrete evidence that they still are thinking about you, and then you're like, but like, what if I didn't?
I know. Man, I didn't have a beard then, though, and now I've got a beard, so...
She will hate the new me.
She spent 30 years, learning things and growing as a person, and I've spent 30 years in a cage that I barely fit
in my
inside.
own bedroom.
The only thing I've learned in 30 years is cramp.
How to eat my own hair.
So Sonic finds the Badnik tracks, and he sees Lucinda wandering the jungle, calling out Lucas's name.
Like a crazy person.
And he figures something went wrong.
Can we talk about the fact that they wait until the very end to give this man a haircut? They were fully gonna let him go up.
I know.
Looking like a dish towel.
Yeah. And she just would have been like, oh, who's this?
You've changed.
Who's this smelly man? The smelly furball. 30 years without a bath, 30 years without a haircut.
And you thought this was okay?
I do like the fact that Lucas actually does try to make a break for it away from the Badniks.
As opposed to just letting it happen?
Yeah, but Robotnik catches him.
Uh-oh.
And then Robotnik watches Sonic follow the tracks into a cave, and then he uses dynamite to activate the volcano that the cave is inside of.
It was a volcano this whole time.
That's dumb.
You're dumb.
But Sonic gets in there and he frees Lucas.
But it explodes.
It explodes and there's lava coming from all the directions. And outside, Robotnik confuses Grounder because he refers to Lucas as Lucinda's true love. And Grounder's like, wait, I thought that was you. Wait a minute. But Scratch, who's a little bit sharper on the uptake, mentions that Lucinda has Robotnik's picture up in her classroom and doesn't mention that she was throwing darts at it.
Yeah, what is Scratch trying to get at here?
Because when Robotnik hears that, he gets excited and he's like, maybe she does love me, and he runs off to see her. And then Scratch is like,
this I gotta see.
So
he's just being a little stinker.
It definitely implies that he's being mischievous here.
Yeah.
And he wants Robotnik to run up there all happy and excited and then find a dart in the picture, I guess. But we don't see any payoff for that.
Well, we kind of do, because what Scratch does is inadvertently lead him into a Sonic trap.
Well, yeah.
And now Sonic and Robotnik are legally married.
Yes, but we're not there yet, because there's another thing that happened that I really wanted to talk about.
Is it the ice cube?
Yeah. So they're stuck in this cave that's filling up with lava, and Sonic turns into a drill this time, not a buzzsaw.
No, he's used the buzzsaw too much this episode.
Yeah, but he could have easily done this with a buzzsaw too. Just saying.
Yeah.
He drills into the ground and he pops out in this kind of tundra area where he takes a block of ice. He confuses a polar bear, and I loved the polar bear's reaction.
Ow! Whoa! 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 Hey! Whoa! What?
But then I was like, if he can drill into the ground like that, couldn't he just tunnel his friends out?
You mean like Luigi?
Yeah. Couldn't he just dig a tunnel out of the volcano?
No, that's not cartoony enough. They need to ride a melting ice cube all the way down the lava.
Yeah, so he just gets them to hop on this ice cube and then they use it as a boat while it melts.
Professor! Lava! Hot!
So yeah, Lucas, knowing everything that's happened, is now convinced that Lucinda is going to marry Robotnik. I don't know why.
Yeah.
He must not think very much of her.
She hates me. She's immediately gonna marry somebody else in front of me.
That guy has a lot of money and a lot of power, and that's all Lucinda, the woman I love, wants.
Right. Like, yeah, he's super evil, and she's expressed that she doesn't care for his personality or goals, but he's rich.
So yeah, Sonic leaves Tails to give Lucas a makeover, like they should have done before.
Hours ago.
And he goes off to deal with Robotnik. And
deal with Robotnik.
Deal with Robotnik. Listen.
They're married, just like in my fanfic.
Yeah, so Robotnik's outside the schoolhouse practicing, demanding that Lucinda marry him.
Right, he doesn't want to come across as a pushover and give her the option.
Yeah, he has learned how to date from businessmen. It's all that, like, don't take no for an answer stuff.
Right.
I will be awaiting your acceptance of my proposal. But yeah, Sonic shows up in drag, dressed as Lucinda, and accepts Robotnik's marriage proposal.
Marry me? Or else.
Okay.
And then we go to a wedding ceremony.
Yeah. And we find out that this isn't even a fake pastor. He's a real judge.
Yeah, this is all real. This is all legally binding. At the wedding ceremony, After the vows, it's time to kiss the bride. Robotnik lifts the veil and only now recognizes Sonic. Even though, was Sonic wearing a veil?
Still looks... No, he wasn't wearing a veil. He was fully exposed.
Yeah, the first time.
Looked exactly the same.
Yep. There's no... There's no reason he should only now realize it's Sonic.
It would make a lot more sense if he had kept the veil on, because Sonic answers the door in a wedding dress.
Yeah.
He could have had the veil on.
Yeah. But Sonic kisses him. Right on the lips.
Consummating their marriage.
Yep, in the eyes of the Lord, they're man and wife now. You know, remember when we watched Sonic Christmas Blast?
Yeah.
And we were really taken aback by the idea that Sonic is Santa now?
Yeah.
What if we had known at the time that he was also Mrs. Robotnik?
Oh no.
You know, not only is he Santa Claus, but he's also married to Dr. Robotnik.
Like, married alone. Married to Robotnik. Does that mean Scratch and Grounder are his stepkids?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's how that works. And it means that Tails is now Robotnik's brother-in-law, I guess. Yeah, so Sonic buries him in rice and wedding cake and takes pictures. I like that Robotnik smiles and poses for the pictures.
Yeah.
Like, even after all of this reveal. It's pretty good.
Well, he smiles for the first one, then he's buried in cake.
Well, yeah, he can't do much after that point.
He's been entombed.
And then Sonic rolls Robotnik and the Badniks up in the red carpet. And I love how the priest is just like, well, I guess my day's over.
Yeah, he doesn't find it particularly weird. It's just another day to him. He's seen some shit.
And another one of these weddings? You gotta stop doing this, Sonic.
This week.
You've married Robotnik 7 times this month.
He falls for it every time. I don't understand.
I don't think you're gonna be able to get this one annulled.
You know what they say.
What do they say?
I don't know what they say. I was hoping you did.
Be safe around water?
Heck yes, you oughta.
Yeah, I guess, like, the priest is like, well, I'm going home now, and Sonic's like, actually, stick around, because I'm going to try and pressure this other couple into getting married today.
They haven't seen each other in 30 years, but I know it's going to stick.
They haven't seen each other in 30 years, and the guy spent all day avoiding it, but give it an hour.
We did give him a haircut, but we couldn't get the smell of piss out of him.
They didn't just give him a haircut. They found his old clothes.
They found his old body.
Because he definitely wasn't wearing pants or a shirt in his hairball form.
No,
or shoes.
He was completely nude.
Yeah. But now he's wearing the same old clothes that he had on as a teenager. I think his hair is different, but that's it.
At least they changed Lucinda's outfit.
Yeah.
But he just grew into the same thing.
He's sitting there all human looking, but he's still got cold feet. So Sonic just runs in, grabs him, and throws him at Lucinda.
Launches him across a body of water, because Lucinda's been on an island this whole time.
Yeah, he doesn't even say hi. He doesn't even stop to check how he's feeling about anything. He literally just runs in and throws him.
I just need a little nudge and I'll...
How's things, little girl?
It's not his choice anymore. This is Sonic's project.
This has been Sonic's plan since the beginning. Neither of these characters look like they're in their 40s, do they?
No.
I could buy it with Eggman. Or, Robotnik. I could buy that Robotnik is in his 40s now. I might even say he looks older than that. But...
He took all of the extra years from them and gobbled them up himself.
Yeah. Lucas and Lucinda. Like, Lucinda, I could buy that she's like maybe in her 20s or 30s now, but Lucas still looks like a teenager.
Yeah, he looks the exact same, but they changed his hair a little bit.
Yeah. So Lucas proposes immediately, and they go to Mr. Quickie's weddings.
Yep. I love that exists.
Mr. Quickies. Where did you get married? I got married at the chapel. Oh, I got married at that cathedral in London. Oh, I went to Mr. Quickies.
He should consider rebranding.
If it's your third wedding or more, you get free fries.
Does that mean that this is Judge Quickie?
Yes, I hope so. Yeah, it's like, that's not really a very good name for a weddings place. What do you mean? It's my name.
He is Mr. Quickie.
So the wedding's happening, and then Sonic's like, wait a second, and he runs off, and he comes back wearing a suit.
And who are you supposed to be?
Best Hedgehog, of course.
You better believe it.
I hate the way this ended. I hate the way it ended.
Me too, but I just realized that Lucinda is wearing Sonic's wedding dress.
Do you think he got it out of her closet?
I think she got it out of his closet.
I hate any ending that ends with characters saying a phrase in unison.
And then the camera focusing on somebody giving a wink.
That I can deal with. But Lucas and Lucinda both saying, "You better believe it," or whatever it was they said. I'm like, nah. Miss me with that.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
No, that's the end. That's how it ends.
Yeah, but we haven't found out what Sonic says.
Before we get to that, I just want to say, this episode was called Best Hedgehog, so this is what it's all been leading up to.
The very last second where all he does is show up in a suit.
Yeah. Do you think the title came first, or do you think this scene was written first?
I think the episode was probably written first.
Yeah.
Then they're like, well, now we have to call it something.
I don't like it.
No. The whole time I'm trying to figure out what Best Hedgehog means. But, I did figure it out. I was like, well, obviously he's going to be the best man. But, when does the wedding happen?
I know it because I remember this episode from when I was a kid. And I remember that scene bothering me as a kid at the end. But I don't think I would have figured it out if I didn't until we got to that scene. And then I would have been like, oh, for fuck's sake.
8 years old. For fuck's sake.
Back then I would have been like, fudge.
Pickles.
Heck dang.
Heck dang. That's too obscene.
Yeah, Sonic says. Do you remember what Sonic says this time?
If you're illiterate, go seek help.
Yeah. It's, Sonic says he loves to read, which is canonically true. If you know someone who has trouble reading, tell them to ask a teacher or ask for help at the library. Do libraries do this?
I'm not sure. I don't think it would be outside of their purview. I know libraries offer a lot of services that I don't know about.
I don't know. I guess, to me, the idea of just walking into a library and being like, hey, I don't know how to read, I just feel like the librarians would be like, oh, okay, are you in the wrong place?
There have got to be, workshop days or something.
Maybe.
I'm sure they have some kind of resource for that sort of thing.
I guess, I'm thinking of it, libraries as they are now rather than as they were in the 90s. Because libraries now are a very underfunded, underutilized service. But I guess back then a library was basically like a community center, huh?
They still try to be, from what I have heard.
Yeah. I should check out my local library.
I know, I think about that all the time.
I know of 2, 3, 4. I know of 4 libraries within walking distance of here. I've just never been in. I've only been in my uni's library.
I don't know where the closest library is. I just remember the one in my hometown. I used to go to that all the time as a kid.
Yeah, I used to go, the one in my hometown, I was at all the time. That's the funny thing, I know where all the libraries are in the various surrounding towns of where I grew up. Because I've been in every single one of them. But up here, since I moved here, I've never used a library outside of uni. It's wild to think about.
Yeah. I have too many books and too much ADHD to get through any of them.
Yeah, that's the thing. If I borrowed a book from the library, I don't think I would be able to finish it before I had to give it back. So I just buy books.
Well, maybe that would be incentive to get it read.
Maybe. Most of my Discworld books were ex-library copies. Like, as they bought themselves new copies for the library, they would sell off the old ones.
Yeah.
So loads of my older Discworld books all have that, like, library stamp card in the front.
Yeah.
I miss that stuff.
Me too.
Because that's what I used to get all the Asterix books and all the Discworld books from the library.
I miss when life was simple.
Me too.
Being 8 years old.
Yeah. So many people confuse that for thinking that the world was better. I know the world still sucked, but my life was simpler. So I don't miss the 90s. I miss being young. I would happily be that young now.
I miss being unaware of everything.
Exactly. God, Sonic has got us on a wistful journey into the past.
Fuck you, Sonic.
Go kiss your boyfriend, Dr. Robotnik. Husband, you're right.
They are
I'm sorry, they're married. I'm sorry, I forgot. Nobody ever forget that Sonic the Hedgehog and Dr. Robotnik are canonically married.
Go tell all of your Sonic forums.
Put it on the wiki.
Yeah.
Put it in the trivia.
Spouse Robotnik.
Spouse Dr. Robotnik. See, this episode. Alright, let's talk opinions now.
Alright.
I don't think this episode is terrible. It gave me a couple laughs. The animation was good. I don't care about the plot.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you're coming to Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog for the plot, you've already failed.
But, like, it takes so much time away from the characters we like to put up with these new idiots that we'll never see again.
That's true, yeah. I don't care at all about Lucas and Lucinda. Everything I liked about this episode was when neither of them were around.
Right, it was the bots being goofy.
Yeah.
And Sonic and Robotnik getting married.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked the wedding. I cried at the wedding.
If they had just stuck to the things that make Sonic, the Adventures of Sonic, so good, it would have been fine. But there's this stupid love story.
But they needed an excuse for Sonic and Robotnik to get married.
Oh. Yeah.
Like, how else would that have come about?
That's a good point.
But maybe a better love story involving two, animal characters instead of these boring humans.
Yeah, instead of this ape man and a woman.
Yeah, make it an actual ape and a ape woman. But yeah, it's really bizarre that this is the first episode they aired as well.
Yeah, I didn't didn't care for this episode.
No, I don't know why. I don't know why they would have aired this one first.
Because they're fools. Or maybe they just wanted us to have the context that Sonic and Robotnik are married.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. It was like, listen, we need to make sure everybody knows that they tied the knot. We can't let people think that Sonic and Robotnik are living in sin.
Right. Like, this is all just lovers' squabbles. It's fine.
We have to make sure that the audience knows that he has made an honest hedgehog out of him. Well, that's it. There's no legacy to this.
What? Lucas never comes back?
Lucas never comes back, to my knowledge. I mean, let me check. Let me double check he didn't, have a cameo in a comic or something. Little furball man in the background. Best Hedgehog, only appearance of Lucas. So yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the wiki mentions that he looks like Where's Waldo. I want these two to come back and Sonic has to deal with their divorce.
No. Why would they ever get divorced? They can work through it.
We don't know that. This entire marriage is based on them being lab partners 30 years ago.
Oh, them. I thought you meant Sonic and Robotnik.
Oh, no. That's a rock solid union. Don't be silly.
That's the only wedding that I care about.
Yeah, it was the only wedding we really saw happen. Like, we saw them getting ready to get married.
That's true.
But the only marriage we actually saw was between Robotnik and Sonic, so... Alright, well, thanks for joining us, everybody. Thank you to Jamie Core and Mark Kelly, our favourite and only patrons.
The first, the best, the only.
Our VIP club members. If you'd like to join them as a VIP member of the Super Breakfast Friends Club, you can go to patreon.com/superbreakfastfriendsclub and check out our options for giving us money. Come follow me on Blue Sky or Twitter or other places. I am Skull Pirate Mike, and you can find updates on what's going on with the show.
Don't follow me.
Leave Mel alone.
I don't have any socials. If you're following me, you're gonna try to find where I live, and I don't condone that.
See you next time, I guess.
I guess.
Bye. That ending felt abrupt.
That episode was abrupt.
It was an hour.
Yeah, I guess.
You're just feeling out of sorts because last week's was 2 hours.
Last week's took every piece of me that I ever had.
Yeah. But didn't you like that song? Doki 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 do it.
I had completely forgotten until now.
Now you've remembered it forever.
No, I'll remember it until I die.